Hi everyone, I'm Alvin from One More Week to Go, and today I'm super excited to be taking my very first trip of 2022 on my way to Dubai to see the Dubai Expo. Now, some of you might know there isn't a direct flight between Vancouver and the United Arab Emirates. Therefore, for the first segment of my journey, I'll be flying on Lufthansa to Frankfurt on board their Airbus A350, and then connecting onto Etihad to fly their Dreamliner into Abu Dhabi. Obviously, this video is all about flying on Lufthansa in the business class cabin. Without further ado, let's head inside the airport, get checked in, and kick off this trip.
For this trip, I'll be flying out internationally from YVR, which is surprisingly not that common for me. For a lot of my recent trips, I would have taken a trans-border flight down to SFO first, so being able to fly overseas directly from YVR was a nice change. I took this flight in February of 2022 when travel was starting to pick up again. At this time, masks were still mandatory in Vancouver Airport. As I arrived at the Lufthansa check-in desk, it was pretty busy already. There was a short queue for the business class line, but after about 5 to 10 minutes, we were on our way to security. At the time of this trip, the Pier D terminal expansion unfortunately wasn't open to the public yet, but I have since checked it out on a more recent trip and it looks fantastic. We had a bit of time to check out the Air Canada Maple Leaf Lounge in the International Terminal, which is located right after security. The lounge is accessible by business class ticket holders, Aeroplan status holders 35K and up, as well as Star Alliance Gold members. You can also enter these lounges using a premium Aeroplan co-branded credit card. As you enter the lounge, you'll find a beautiful wood slat wall embossed with the Air Canada logo, leading into a bar area. Past that, you'll find a variety of seating options, from comfortable lounge chairs offering a view out into the tarmac, or some dining seating should you wish to enjoy a meal or a snack. Speaking of snacks, here's the snack menu you can order from. You can also order hot food service from the QR code on the tables. Note that this service has since been removed and the hot foods are now available self-serve from the buffet. Here's my aircraft, an Airbus A350-900 Alpha India X-Ray Echo, arriving on the inbound flight from Frankfurt. I was hoping it would be the new livery as I find it looks sleeker, at least in photos, but I wasn't too bothered. Do you like the new livery or the old livery? Let me know in the comments below. Our flight LH493 with service to Frankfurt would depart from gate D55. Lufthansa's A350 business class is configured in a 2-2-2 layout over 8 rows, totaling 48 seats. The last 2 rows are in a separate mini cabin past the L2 doors. My seat for the flight is 6A, a window seat in the last row of the main business class cabin. let's review the seat features. Directly in front is the touchscreen TV. The size is pretty decent, but the display itself is pretty dated with below average resolution and quality. You can adjust the angle of the screen by unlatching it, sliding it out, and swiveling it. Hidden behind the screen above the footrest area is a coat hook. Beneath the screen is the literature pocket, where you'll find the menu and the safety card. Beneath the literature pocket is a narrow storage pocket where I found a water bottle, as well as a Lufthansa tote bag, which serves as the amenity kit on this flight. We'll check out the contents later during flight. The footrest is a little narrow, but is deep enough to accommodate taller passengers. Being a bit on the shorter side at 5'7", I can barely touch the footrest when seated in the upright seating position. Underneath the footrest, you'll find ample storage space for shoes, bags, or other items. For instance, this is where I kept the blanket that Lufthansa provides. To my right is the center console/armrest where you'll find a panel for the seat controls. The interface is pretty straightforward. Flipping up the center console, you'll find the tray table. To deploy it, push down on it, pull up, and swing out. There is a bit of wiggle, but not too much. You can flip it open for more surface area. You can also move the tray table forwards and backwards. Further back is the IFE controller. A bit hidden below the armrest is a USB charging port. Integrated into the seat on the side of the headrest is the LED reading light. The headrest itself can be adjusted up and down, but the sides do not fold in. On the other side of the seat, below the armrest, is a compartment that holds the noise-canceling headphones. At the front of the center console are two universal power outlets, one for each seat. In my seat, I have access to two full windows, and one partially shared with the seat in front. No individually adjustable air nozzles in this cabin, unfortunately. The crew came around to deliver the pre-departure beverages. The choices were between mango orange juice, sparkling wine, and water. Both Peterson and I opted for the mango orange juice, which was really good. Here's the engine view from seat 6A. One thing I love about the Airbus A350 are the exterior cameras that you can view from the IFE. Pretty soon, it was time for pushback and departure.
Ladies and gentlemen, now we show you the safety features on board. Appreciate your attention.
Verschluss des Gurtes anziehen. Da unerwartet Turbulenzen auftreten können, sind Sie verpflichtet, sich anzuschnallen, sobald Sie den Gurt hängen. Diese Ausgänge haben aufblasbare Rutschen, über die Sie das Flugzeug im Notfall verlassen können. Lassen Sie Ihr Handgepäck an Bord. Sie während des gesamten Aufenthalts an Bord nutzen. Beachten Sie hierzu auch die Ansagen der Crew.
Take care when opening the overhead bin, in case any items fall out. Also, use the space under the seat in front of you for stowing your carry-on. The lamp lights up automatically in contact with water. This flight is at no speed. Accessing the mobile network is not permitted. When this sign is illuminated, you are on board. If your electronic device falls into any part of your seat that is not accessible, please call a flight attendant instead of adjusting, and the battery can become a fire hazard. If an electronic device is...
Jo. Air Canada A350 Victorio McCoy. يا شخصي. يا ما شخصية. يا ما شخصية.
After reaching cruising altitude, the meal service began, starting with a tray of lightly salted nuts and a choice of beverage. While we're waiting for the appetizer, let's briefly take a look at the Wi-Fi options. To stay connected via messaging will cost you $8. For light browsing and email, $20. And for social media and faster speeds, $34. I thought the prices were a bit steep, so I didn't bother with it. Let me show you the menu for the flight, but I should mention that while taking our orders for the main course, the crew actually pointed out that they loaded the wrong menu for the flight. So the selections were not the ones listed in here. Instead, the main course options were between braised beef, glazed cod, and ravioli. I think the only thing accurate were the drinks and the appetizers. For my appetizer, I went with the goat cheese tartare with mushrooms and asparagus. The taste was a bit bland, but it was somewhat refreshing. Served alongside the appetizer was some bread and a slab of butter. For the main, I selected the glazed cod, which was a mistake. It wasn't good, the fish was tasteless, the chow mein pretty mediocre, and overall pretty uninspiring. For dessert, the FA kindly offered us both the cheese plate and the sweet pastries. The cheeses were really good, however the pastries tasted a bit artificial to me. I accompanied the desserts with a coffee as usual. As I was having the meal service, I was treated to some beautiful views of the frozen landscape below, paired with the soft light of the setting sun on the horizon. Apologies for my camera not choosing to focus, but let's take a brief look at the selection on the IFE. Firstly, the screen responsiveness left a bit to be desired, so it was kind of difficult navigating through the menu. Secondly, while there seemed to be a lot of movies, a lot of them were quite old, and I had a tough time finding one I wanted to watch after scrolling through everything. Eventually, I just settled on watching the external cameras. Here's the noise-cancelling headphones provided by AKG. They worked well and were pretty comfortable on my head. Here's the Around the World Collection tote bag, which comes in a variety of different designs of cities around the world. I got the Brooklyn Bridge design from New York City. The contents included socks, dental kit, fresh mints, a small bottle of cologne, and ear pad covers for the headset. I briefly put the seat into the bed mode to try it out. There was a good amount of space for me to move around and get comfortable while in the sleeping position. The shoulder width was good and the leg room was plentiful. The cabin mood lighting was adjusted to this warm orange glow, which was very nice. I wasn't too tired, so I decided to play some Legends of Arceus on my Nintendo Switch to pass the time. One minor complaint was that the crew didn't come by to collect finished drinks and towels from the tail end of the meal service. We were left with it sitting on our center console for several hours. It was a pretty uneventful flight, as the next notable event was already the arrival meal. Again, the menu was wrong for this flight, so we were verbally given a choice between a cold plate of muesli or a hot plate with the frittata and Canadian bacon. I decided to try out the muesli. It came with a side of salami, cheese, and grapes, as well as an assortment of bread. For drinks, I had the mango orange juice again and a coffee. Without much else to review in the flight, I'll leave you with a cinematic sequence of our scenic arrival into Frankfurt. Our landing on runway 25 right meant that we had a great overview look at Frankfurt Airport as we were making our final approach. So what did I think about the flight? The crew were very friendly and made the flight enjoyable, but that's about the only really positive thing I could say. The 222 seating configuration is a bit old school and meant that window seats don't have direct aisle access, which can be problematic if you're traveling solo, especially on a long-haul flight. The seats themselves and the IFE felt dated and in need of a refresh. The seat also lacked some functional storage space, which was exacerbated by the fact that my armrest was occupied by finished drink cups and meal service items for about half the flight. The food was pretty underwhelming to say the least, and it was the first time on board a business class flight where the menus were incorrect. Ultimately, I still appreciated the flight with Lufthansa across the Atlantic, enjoying the views whenever I could and just being grateful for the opportunity to fly in business class. But if you're looking to fly with Lufthansa's A350, try to make sure it'll be in the newly refurbished cabin instead of this one. Anyway, that's a wrap for another trip report. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, happy travels, and I'll see you in the next one.